Hello and welcome. My name's Brad, and you've landed on the Heart and Soul Wellness Channel. We're physically located in Marble Falls, Texas, and our mission, our goal, is to provide you with healthy bodyweight exercises in the forms of non-traditional power yoga, yin yoga, yin yoga, meditation, and breathing exercises, all with the mission to heal. I believe that motion is lotion and movement's medicine. So you're invited to go get on your mat, grab your hand towel, a water bottle, and anything else you need to take care of yourself. Be willing to slow the video down, pause, or do anything you need to do. See you in your mat.
Hello and welcome. Glad you're joining me today. We're going to start right away in child's pose. So getting on your mat, taking your big toes to touch, taking your knees a little bit wider than your chest, getting anything you need to support yourself, a towel, a blanket, water. I'm going to ask you if you can just stretch your arms out in front of you. You can turn your palms to face up, or if you like, you can wiggle your elbows closer to your head and place your hands in a prayer-like position and bring your thumbs back toward your spine. Take a big giant breath in and a big full breath out. In the practice of personal intention, so either starting with something that is a dedication to something you care about, God, or an intention, something that you want to be about in your life. Love, strength, flexibility, something that has meaning to you. And with this practice today, practicing letting go. It's not about forcing our way, pressing our way, or holding the breath, stretching. It's really about trying to create a soft space in your body and being patient, finding some stillness. Knowing that it's not really ever achievable to be perfectly still, or at least I haven't found it that way, perfectly still. There's always going to be a little bit of wiggle or a little bit of movement, but it's the practice of looking for that. Okay, already done with child's pose. Coming up, we're going to move into some cat-cows. Hands right underneath you. Take a big inhale looking up. Exhale, round, shoulders to your ears. Squeeze and press the floor. Breath in, looking up. Breathe out, round. Squeeze your belly. Press your fingers. Breathe in, some good movement of your spine. Breathe out. Think that you're really putting some fluid between the vertebrae. Going to move into puppy dog pose. So keeping your hips right over your knees, hips high, walking your arms out. And my friend Trey Pogue asked for some shoulder work today. So this is a whole routine focused a little bit around shoulders. So reaching your arms out if you can turn your palms to face up. If you've got a lot of openness in your shoulders, you can even put a block underneath your elbows. One block per elbow generally. And that'll get your elbows to lift up. And that'll stretch your latissimus dorsi, the back. That's actually connected all the way to the pelvis, all the way up to the humerus, the arm bone. So it goes from the top of the hips all the way through the back, all the way up into the arms. Long muscle. One more big full breath in. One more giant breath out. Gonna make some hip circles. So just taking your hands underneath your shoulders. Big rotation of your hips. Back to your heels, toward the front, off your mat to the sides. Just some big circular motion. Don't be afraid. Maybe nobody's around. Nobody's watching. Maybe you're seeing me, but who cares? Circles the other way. Moving your body. Then we're coming down into a Sphinx pose, which is actually a front body stretch. So you shouldn't feel this at all in your low back. Taking your elbows more or less underneath your shoulders. And taking your toes, letting them turn a little bit in. If you like, you can even put your elbows on tops of blocks if you've got a really open back. Or you can take your elbows a little wider than your shoulders and come down a little lower if you have a little bit more tightness in the front of your body. Maybe allowing your eyes to close, finding that place of stillness, that place of softness, breathing. Also, if you'd like, you can keep your hands or take your hands about shoulder width apart and start to lift your elbows off the floor. Also, right here, making sure there's no low back pain, no discomfort, but an opening in the front body. Okay, and still allow yourself maybe to just start to come on down, maybe a little wiggle a little bit or fall forward. We're going to move into some strengthening here, some core exercise. It's a plank, a forearm plank. So your elbows are on the ground. Your core is engaged, your legs are engaged. And because we're focusing on shoulders today, we're going to pump the shoulders up and down. So the arms aren't moving. We're kind of doing straight arm push-ups, but are on the forearms. So we're protracting, retracting the shoulders, the scapulas. Just getting some movement. Going for 10 times up and down. You have to check this out, what this means to have protraction and retraction. Kind of means bringing your shoulders to the front of your body and to the back of your body, basically. Settling back down and then focusing on your breath. Focusing on squeezing your legs. Breathing in and breathing out. And we're going to move into a plank position. So you're on your hands now, and we're going to move right into some scapula movements here. So protracting and retracting 10 times. You kind of want to get your creases of your elbows toward the front of your mat if you can. Keeping your hips squeezing and lifted. You don't want to let your hips hang or sag. We're making 10 straight arm push-ups, basically. Just like pushing up, down into the ground, and falling down toward the ground. But the arms aren't moving. Back and forth. Just getting a little bit of scapula movement. Pausing, and whenever you're complete with your 10, maybe squeeze your hands together right here for the last few moments. You're going to start to lower down slowly maybe, or just fast. I kind of came down a little fast, so Coming down slowly. Now you're just going to take what I call the cross position, taking your arms out like a cross, 90 degrees, and then you're just going to roll right onto your right side. Your right palm is facing down, and it's extended about 90 degrees out from your shoulder. You can come up on the tips of your fingers of your left hand, just opening up the right shoulder. Just like to invite you, if you have something you'd like to focus on, to comment down in the comments. Be sure to subscribe. The more subscribers we get, the easier it is to get some uploads done. If you like it, please be sure and hit the like button. Just breathing. Couple more deep rounds of breath. You're just going to roll onto your stomach. You're going to reach your left arm out, kind of like a cross, more or less 90 degrees or straight out from your shoulder, and then just rolling onto your left side. Your palms facing down, and you're breathing. One more giant breath. One more big just releasing out of that. So this next one is shoelace, where you're just going to take your right arm and thread it under you. You take your left arm, reach straight up. Or if you would like, and it's comfortable enough for you, you can just crisscross your arms. If you got a block, you can put it under your forehead. I don't have a block today for myself, but it's okay. Just breathing right here. So you're crisscrossing your arms, shoelaced arms, or you have your right arm threaded under and your left arm just reaching straight up above you. Just making this your practice, what works for you. And then how much you can let go, noticing how much you hold, you resist, clench. Maybe it's your jaw, your teeth, your shoulders, where you can soften. One more big, giant breath in. One more full. You're just going to start to release that. You can thread your left arm under and reach straight up with your right, or put the right arm in front of the left arm here. Or just switch whichever way you had it. And then breathe. One more giant breath in. One more full. You can start to release out of this. We're going to make our way into a down dog. Stretching your fingers out. You can have a little bend in your knees here. Just allowing your back body to release. Shoulders. Kind of working on your creases of your elbows turning toward the front of your mats. They don't have to, but that's kind of directionally what you're shooting for in the way you're trying to open your shoulders. Just breathe. Squeeze your belly. Smooth, full breaths in. Long exhalations out. Just a little bit of strengthening here, a little bit of opening. Not your traditional yin practice, but it's what I hope to be an effective yin practice and enjoyable. Big full breath in. One more big full through the mouth. You're just going to step into yogi squat. So you're stepping your feet outside of your hands. You're going to sink your hips down. And you want your heels on the ground. So if your heels don't just go to the ground right here very easily, you can roll your mat from the back, like you're rolling it up to put it up. But just putting your heels on that rolled portion of your mat. Or you can even come on your back, come into a happy baby on this one. If you know happy baby. If you don't, you can look it up on the internet real quick, pause it and come back. Or you could just sit on a block or something low, but you want to stretch out your low back, hips, glutes. And focusing on the breathing. Long, full breath ins. Slow empties. Really slowing your thoughts. So often we are ready for what's next. Get bored of seeing what's on our screen or what's happening in a book, movie, our lives. We're ready for what's next. But practice here is simply enjoying the moment, the breath, the sensation, not being controlled by any given moment. As a practice. Okay, we're just going to do some straightening the legs, bowing forward, and then sinking back down. You can put your hands on the ground or hands on block. You're just straightening your legs and sinking back down. Straightening the legs, sinking back down. Back and forth, like pressing into the floor, pressing into your hands, sinking back down. Back and forth, up, sink back down, back up. Okay, and then you're just gonna heel toe your feet about 2 fist widths apart. And then what you can do, this is a shoulder stretch, so you can't really see my hands here, but you're gonna interlace your fingers, and if your hands are, or your shoulders are so tight, you might want to get a hand towel here. Put a hand towel or strap or a belt, something between your hands so that you can hold on. And it's really kind of nice to have them a little bit wider because you can get a little bit different stretch. And then just lifting your hands off your hips, lifting the pit of the belly and toward the spine. Checking in with your feet, maybe a little wiggle of your toes. Maybe just a lean slightly forward and press slightly down. Open up your shoulders, open up your hamstrings. Take another breath in and breath out. Start to make your way out of that one. We're going to go right into frog. So frog is an intense pose for a lot of people who are starting out. But you're taking your knees about right outside of your hips. Take them wide and let your feet turn out. Sorry for the view here, but I turned it right into the camera today. Take your arms out wide and then look to the right. So if you need it, you can put a block under your chest, block under your head, but turn your head, let's get a little neck stretch in this, to the right. Stretch your arms out like in the cross position. And let go. And okay, you're staying in frog. I'm just gonna change the direction that I'm in. So change the view. So take your knees wide. So you start to look over your left shoulder. Just changing the direction of your head. So that should give you a clue that you're about halfway done here. Take your arms out to a T or a cross position. And let your hips melt down toward your mat. Okay, and you're gonna start to make your way out of frog any way you want to. You can slide forward, back. We're gonna come into seated wide leg fold. So just taking your feet wide. This is a great place, guys. I say it often in my videos, but when I first started, I sat on a block, and I highly recommend, if you can't lean forward at all, sit on a block. You want to be on your sit bones. You want to get the most out of these poses. You're spending your time here, so want to get the most effective way to open up your body, most helpful way. And then you can also put a little towel or blanket underneath your legs right at the knee. So both knees, you'd have a towel rolled up and a little ball or block, something to soften your legs if you've got really tight hamstrings. This is one of my favorites for low back. And you can have your hands behind you or start to lean forward. You can also put a block underneath your forehead here. Back into your breath work, back into the work of softening, the practice of stillness, ease. Even when things get tough, when things aren't comfortable, can you find and look for ease? Just letting go, starting to make your way up. You're just going to bring your feet kind of in front of you, kind of right down from your knees. And we're just going to do a little hip movement. So you're going to shift your knees over to the right, shift your knees over to the left. Just kind of back and forth, pressing your knees toward your mat. Just a little movement. We're making our way into fire toes prayer. So you're going to curl your toes under, bring your big toes more or less to touch, and take your knees a little wider than your chest. And you're sitting back on your heels. So like for me, when I first started, this was totally impossible. So knowing that you can put your hands on blocks or kind of come onto hands and knees right here, but you want your toes bent. That's the work. That's the stretch of the bottom of the feet where there's fascia. I think it's the thickest fascia of the whole body is on the bottom of the feet. So for the plantar fasciitis, not only can plantar fasciitis drive some people crazy, or lots and lots of people crazy, but it can also start to change your gait, the way you walk, which can start to bring pain up your knee, into your ankle, or into your hip, low back, even your shoulders. Healthy feet. You're doing good things. Just keep breathing. Working on softening, even here. You're working on the trust of letting go. Got my little doggy friend. His name, he was a gift, actually. No, we didn't buy him, and we didn't give him the name. And the crazy thing is the people that gave him to us, they didn't even practice yoga. And his name is Yogi. And whenever I was told that somebody wanted to give us a dog and his name was Yogi, I was like, gosh, that is just such a sign. He's a great little dog. He's been my best dog of my whole life. My kids love him, and I love him. Just breathing. Notice when we get distracted. And you can stay right here, or you can start to release. I just want to say, God bless and keep you. And have a great day. Namaste.